All right, Wednesday evening, about 5:30. We got this thing this far along. There is all the major trapezoidal shit that came out of it. Quite a collection there. That's going in the toilet. No, not the toilet, but it's going to go in the circular pile. We've got, I think, everything back in to where it should be, and we wound up replacing the wires on the audio transformer on the secondary side, and we got everything back in there like it was. Well, not like it was, but better than it was, I hope. We got the E-caps located in and situated out. We put a grommet on the back there, or on the bottom. I guess that's what. Yeah, that's the bottom. So because that, yeah, let's see, that cord went through here, and they had some tape across it to keep it from, I don't know, coming out. And it rubbed and rubbed and rubbed and rubbed until this jacket, this braided jacket, frayed, and it was all frayed. And so I put a shrink on that, and put a grommet in it, and put a strain relief on that thing, a little zip tie, to keep from wanking it apart or anything. There is a de-wanker here, but that's up in the chassis. And then on this end, they had some tape on this because this cord has four leads in it, and they only utilized 2. I thought it might have been a cord that was from a radio that had an antenna lead in it, you know, the third wire. But there's 2 pairs of wires in this thing. So anyway, the cord is, you know, the jacket on this cord is frayed here and there, and I mean, it just, you look at it and it's going to come apart on you. Might be able to find some old appliance cord that you could probably put back in there, whatever. I wasn't going to go that far on this. This was, like I said in the beginning, this was just a repair, but it turned in to be a major upgrade. And so we're going to get around to trying this out and seeing if there's any issues with it now. Once we get it checked out and everything, the owner would like to have a auxiliary input added to this, and we're going to check on that as soon as we find out whether or not we're going to get something favorable out of this thing. So stand by, and we'll be back for the next segment. All right, one last detail that I forgot to do before winding this thing up and giving it a check out was, I noticed this one here, this one that was in here, you'll notice it in the previous segment. It was still one of these yellow ones, and I remember I said that I was going to replace that one there, because this one here is one side of the line cord to ground. I said I was going to replace that with a a safety cap, and done and done. I noticed one other thing too. I didn't get a jumper from this first resistor to the second resistor that was in there. I happened to see it on my chicken scratches, and looked at it 2 or 3 times and realized, hey, something is wrong with this picture. So I got that in there also. So now we are ready to turn this thing up and give it a shot. So stand by. Okay, we got all the lights shut down. We got the halogens on battery power, and we got this thing plugged in. We're going to use the 2 lamps this time. We're powered up on the isolated transformer, and we got the meter set to kilograms. So here we go. We're powered up. We're getting some glow on the worms. We got a dial lamp. Tubes of light lit up there, that detector tube. I still got to go through and double check the voltages on the tubes and see what they're reading, because nowhere could I find anything on voltages on any of the tube bases. So I'm going to document that stuff right now. Oh well, before this thing goes out. So now that we got that, let me put this down right there, so that we're pulling 520 kilograms. Let me pull up a seat here, and we will get started. We're shoved in. We should be on the AM portion of the band. So let's now notice here we're all the way full mesh, and we're at 100. I would have thought that this here would have been an opposite, would have been at 0, but such is not the case. So we're gonna start now. I think there we go. Now, the strongest stations will be a real boomer. These weaker stations that are the farther the distance away, the harder it's going to be to bring them in. It will bring them in, but you're not going to get a whole lot of volume out of it, because this is here operates on a kind of like a rheostat. It's not really a volume control. This thing here, I guess, throttles the signal to the pre-stage tubes, and not from the first audio tube. So it's much like a TRF set, I would suppose. I would liken it to anyway. So, and another thing. I investigated whether or not I could do the auxiliary input for like Bluetooth or whatever, and it's not going to be possible, because one side of the chassis, the chassis is tied to one side of the power line. So depending on how you plug that plug in, that old style antique plug, you could have I guess what you would call the hot side going to the chassis, or if you plugged it in the other way, you could have the common side go to the chassis. Either way, the chassis is still going to be hot to a certain degree. So that's the name of that tune. So that's not. I would not recommend it, and there is somebody, Mr. Radio, I think, on YouTube. He does a lot of these old radios, and he modifies them so that they can incorporate Bluetooth and or auxiliary input, and he uses a well, kind of like a line matching transformer. It's an isolation transformer. So I got to investigate that. And he does a lot of these hot chassis radios that way. So I'm going to have to investigate on that and try to get some experience under my belt for that. So hopefully you can hear what I hear. Let me shut down the fan just in case the fan is making some noise. Shut that down there. Of course, it might be interfering with radio signal too. It's on a long wire. So hopefully you can hear that. That's a sports station somewhere down around 600. So let's keep going. Now, I don't know if you can see it. I don't know what these look like, little weights on the end of the tuner section, and this face is designed to be up, horizontal, and these things keep wanting to fall back, closing down the tuner plates, capacitor plates. So bear with me.
Este domingo, Necaxa recibe un Querétaro. El conjunto de los Rayos buscarán su primera victoria en casa en este certamen.
I'm not sure where that station's at. It might be Prescott, it might be Prescott Valley.
Centro de Garnica.
Conditioning plumbing, COETTL will keep you cool, but it's hard to spell. There's a swing and a miss. And quickly, strike two on
That's our ESPN affiliate out of Sedona.
280, 11 homers,
That's 16 miles away.
And 24 stolen bases.
So
First, the Diamondbacks have got Gabby Marino.
The volume control is pretty far up.
Throwing out would-be base stealers this year. Here's a windup by Kelly on the 0-2 to Friedel. And just outside.
There is no tone control on this to speak of.
So Friedel leading off, but Clayton and De La Cruz to follow here.
Now it's 6:45 in the evening, Thursday evening. So some of these stations are starting to drift in, some of these distant stations. Now, I think that's a station out of, I'm not really sure. It sounds more like a Bible preaching station, and if it is, it's not the station I'm thinking of in Prescott Valley.
Seemed like a lot of people wanted to play for D'Amico Ryans this year, so I'll be really curious. You know, their free agency-wise, you saw a lot of guys who wanted to come play for them.
That kind of sounds like it.
San Francisco last year.
Cruz won a 6 RBI game.
Oh no,
Doubleheader yesterday in Anaheim against the Angels.
this is the one I'm thinking of in
That's
Prescott
down
Valley.
low, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Diamondbacks coming off those 2 wins against Texas.
They cover all the D-backs games. Yeah, there's quite a few stations wanting to come in
If you
now.
think so, home this summer. If you've been dreaming of owning a home, then now's your chance to make that real estate.
Yeah, there's a lot more. I tried it this afternoon, I think, and I didn't get too much of anything. Of course, I blew it on a couple of things on the chassis. So that one's drifting in. That one is drifting in too.
But I guess that's just the way the story goes.
That's our local station. It's really overloading the front end of this thing. Okay, that's this full stop on that one. Now let's try the I guess it's the police band. I'm not sure what they refer to it as, whether it's shortwave or police band. I'm thinking it's police band because probably won't get too much of anything on this thing. Probably the only thing we'll get is our local station. And it'll be down around the almost fully closed end of the
Best music, 1600 KYBC.
yeah. Now later on you might get something a little above that, because the police band goes to around 1720 or something like that, or the old police band. So anyway, that's it, folks. So hopefully we all got something out of this. I know I did. I got to go through and check all the voltages now and do the final touch-ups to the thing, and we'll throw it back in the cabinet and we'll give you a final look at it and an operation, and we'll get this thing ready to ship back to the owner. So thanks for watching.